Hi everyone, this is Alan Rosinski of Metro Manhattan Office Space. Good afternoon. It's been a bit more than a year since the failed IPO of WeWork. That IPO was officially withdrawn in September of 2019. Now the consensus agreement at that time is that WeWork was finished. Within months, all the facilities would be closed, and that would have an extremely detrimental impact on New York City commercial office space. The WeWork, being the largest tenant in New York City, when that space hit the market, that would cause a major drop in rents for commercial office space in New York City. Now, in retrospect, we all know that was wrong, as WeWork survived, and there was a correction in the market, but that correction was caused by the market. And, I think this shows that you can never really trust a consensus. You have to read very carefully, think things through, and think creatively. Don't just listen to what you read in the newspapers. Try to think things through. But what I'd like to try to do is explain what happened in reality. And the co-working industry is such a major player in the commercial real estate industry and in New York City that, this deserves a little bit of a discussion and try to make clear what, in my opinion, has occurred in the last year. When the former CEO of WeWork, Adam Neumann, was forced out, a new CEO by the name of Sandeep Mithrani, who's a veteran of Vornado Realty Trusts with first-rate real estate management experience, was brought on board. And what Mr. Mithrani has been doing is cutting costs. Almost 7,500 jobs were cut at WeWork in the last year, and the company has saved $1 billion. What they've also done is gone back to their landlords and they've renegotiated rents. They've closed centers. They've cut their expenses in a major way. Also, what's happened is the pandemic, in certain respects, has helped WeWork. People don't want to go into their offices. They may not want to commute, but they may want to have access a few hours a week, a few days a week to office space. And co-working and WeWork allows a maximum amount of flexibility. You can go rent space by the hour, by the day, by the week, and this is really profitable for WeWork. And apparently their centers outside of major cities, their suburban centers are doing extremely well, as are centers for Regus and other co-working facilities, because people are more reluctant to get on public transportation than they are to go to their offices for a couple hours or a couple of days a week. So a lot of the closures of WeWork facilities and Regus facilities have been in city centers like Manhattan. And to give you an example, one of WeWork's major competitors, Regus, is expected to close about 20% of their facilities in New York City. Among them are 1325 Broadway, 1501 Broadway, and 1740 Broadway. Now, an advantage that Regus has is they operate each center as a separate corporation. So what they do is they just close that corporation, they put it into bankruptcy, and it doesn't really affect the parent company, which in this case is a Swiss-based company, publicly traded by the name of IWG. Getting back to WeWork, a really important factor which has helped them is that companies that lease space and individuals at WeWork are not signing typical commercial leases. They are signing licensing agreements for services, for the use of space, use of telecommunication, use of printing, receptionist service. So they are not bound by New York State, New York City's ban on evictions. So they have to pay their rent. If a company was leasing 2,000 square feet with a commercial landlord, they haven't had to pay really any rent since March. That could catch up with them. But if they are a licensee at WeWork or Regus, that rent is due. And I've read that WeWork is making extensive efforts to collect these back due payments. So, at the end of the day, this business model, the co-working business model, is going to be around for a long time. What is interesting, and I reported on this last summer, is that WeWork is projecting profitability in 2021. And in a recent statement, Sandeep Mithrani said that it is very possible that there'll be another attempt at an IPO sometime in 21 or shortly thereafter. Co-working will be around for the long term. If you want to really try to understand what's going on with this key sector of the commercial real estate market, I would read very, very carefully. Don't have any prejudices, and above all, don't listen to the consensus. If you found this content interesting or helpful, I'd be happy if you subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can always find me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @Metro Manhattan. Until the next time.